1123. Page 1124. Page 1125. One one two six. (1127). Senator Suleiman Nkuyi, Kaduna North.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Suleiman Nkuyi, representing Kaduna North Senatorial District. I rise to move that the votes and proceedings for Wednesday, the 11th January 2017 be approved. I so move.
Senator Sinaka Chukwudim, Rivers West.
Thank you, Mr. President, for granting me this honor of seconding the motion that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 11th January 2017 be adopted as a document of this Senate.
Okay, yes. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 11th of January 2017 hereby approved, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 11th January 2017 is hereby approved. Announcements. Letter from Mr. President. Dear distinguished Senate President, submission of nomination of non-career ambassadors. I wish to refer to your letter of 16 November 2016 on the nomination of non-career ambassadors and to resubmit hereunder the revised list of 46 non-career nominees for confirmation as ambassadors designate by the distinguished Senate. 1. Abia State, Dr. Mrs. Uzoma Emenike. 2. Adamawa, Aminu Iyawa. 3. Akwa Ibom, Major General Godwin G. Umo, retired. 4. Anambra, Christopher J. N. Okay. 5. Bauchi, Yusuf Maitama Tuga. 6. Bauchi, Baba Madugu. 7. Bayelsa, Brigadier General Stanley Direye. 8. Benue, Professor Stephen Uba. 9. Bonu, Baba Ahmed Jida. 10. Cross River, Dr. Utubong Asuko. 11. Delta, Engineer Frank Ifeduma. 12. Ebonyi, Mr. Jonah M. Odo. 13. Edo, Yagwe Igbe. 14. Ekiti, Dr. Eniola Ajayi. 15. Enugu, Major General Chris Eze. 16. Gombe, Alhaji Suleiman Hassan. 17, Igbo, Justice Sylvanus Adewere Usofo. 18, Jigawa, Aminu Mohammed Dalhatu. 19, Kaduna, Ahmed Nur Bamali. 20, Kaduna, Deborah S. Laya. 21, Kano, Professor D. Abdul Kadri. 22, Kano, Alhaji Haruno Nugugu. 23, Katsina, Justice Isa Dudu. 24, Katsina, Muhammad Rimi Barade. 25, Kebbi, Professor Tijani Bande. 26, Kogi, Professor Y.O. Aliu. 27, Kwara, Nuruddin Muhammad. 28, Kwara, Professor Mohammed G. Isa. 29, Lagos, Justice George Adeshola Oguntade. 30th, Lagos, Mrs. Modupe Irele. 31, Nasarawa, Musa Ilu Mohammed. 32, Niger, Ahmed Ibeto. 33, Ogun, Susan Aderonke Folani. 34, Ondo, Jacob Bekele Daudu. 35, Oshun, Afolayo Adeyemi. 36, Oyo, Major General Ashimui Olani retired. 37, Plateau, James G. Dimka. 38, Plateau, Dr. Haruna Bawa Abdullahi. 39, Rivers, Oji Ngofa. 40, Sokoto, Saibi Isa Gada. 41, Sokoto, Honorable Kabiru Umar. 42, Taraba, Alhaji Hassan Jika Ado. 43, Yobe, Goni Modu Zana Bura. 44, Zamfara, Alhaji Garba Gajam. 45, Zamfara, Captain Bala Mohammed Mariga. And 46, FCT Habis Ibrahim Ubada. It is my hope that this will receive the usual prompt attention of the distinguished members of the Senate of the Federal Republic. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari. Announcement today, 12th of January, join other colleagues to congratulate the Senate leader, Ahmed Ibrahim Lawa, on his birthday, and wish him many more years of good health and prosperity. Petitions. Leader of the Senate. Point of.
Thank you, Mr. President. My order is order 43, Mr. President.
Yeah, read.
Mr. President, by the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in details to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is sought, Mr. President. Mr. President, let me start by thanking God Almighty and to thank you, Mr. President, and indeed thank my distinguished colleagues and seriously thank Mr. President for including the FCT in the ambassadorial nominee. It shows that he is a listening leader, because if you may wish to recall and remember, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, I had brought this matter before the Senate, and I protested that the FCT was not included
in the list of the ambassadorial nominees. But Mr. President, I want to say that I am sure that the people of the FCT are indeed extremely very happy that first, we have a non-career ambassador, and second, we have a career ambassador. This has not happened before, and it is happening now and in the life of this administration. Mr. President, to whom much is given, much is expected. And for the people of the FCT, like Oliver Twist, who want to say that when we will be hearing the list of nominees for ministerial will be called upon or will be rolled out, we hope that indeed the people of the FCT will also be so included. I thank you, Mr. President, and God bless.
Well, the distinguished Senator Ajuda, as by our rules, there cannot be further debate. But I think what you are conveying here, which I think you would like us to convey to the president, is, as you said, we have a president who is a listening president. As such, it means that the party and the government is the listening party and government. You said the president, I'm quoting you, I'm trying to, you said the president by such action loves FCT, and you say finally by his action, it will smoothen the transition. Is that a summary of, I think that's a summary of leader of the Senate. Sorry, one more point of order, sorry. Sam Anyang.
Thank you, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Sam Anyang. I want to invoke, I represent Imo East. I want to invoke order 43. Mr. President, if I have a leave, I'll read.
Yeah.
By the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there will be no question from the Senate or no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to inform the Senate, Mr. President, sometime last year, around October, there were nominees for the NDDC commissioners for the 9 states of the Niger Delta states. Unfortunately, the 2 states in the southeast that make up the Niger Delta, their nominees were not approved because the nominees are not from the oil producing communities, and it was returned back. And this is a new year, Mr. President, and the budget is soon start. And these 2 states, which is the only 2 states that make up the Niger Delta state from the southeast, has no representative. I mean, Abuja and Imo State. I think, Mr. President, in line with what is happening, it is important that we should put across to the executive, especially Mr. President, to inform him that these 2 states of the southeast, and of course, with the appointment of these commissioners, most of restiveness by the militants in these 2 states will become, down. So I think I want to bring it to the notice of the Senate that, as I speak today, Mr. President, there's no representative from Imo State, and there's no representative from Abia State in the Niger Delta Development Commission. Thank you, Mr. President.
So your observation is noted now. Take it up. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished and very respected colleagues. Mr. President, I want to take this opportunity to request for 2 minutes or thereabout to show appreciation and gratitude to my colleagues for giving me the opportunity to serve as the new leader of this Senate. Mr. President, let me first of all start by thanking the Almighty God for making this transition and for bringing this journey to an end. It is the will of God, and we all, as religious people, believe in destiny. We have accepted our fate, and we have accepted to work in this chamber for the betterment of Nigeria. Mr. President, the APC caucus, the greatest caucus, I'm coming to that.
Yes.
I was once there. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to thank the APC caucus for having confidence and trust in my judgment, in my ability and capacity to serve as the leader of the Senate. Mr. President, I was for 16 years in opposition and for 8 years on that side. I know how the opposition cooperates and supports the government. I want to ask my colleagues on that side, where I was once, that what the APC caucus has done it for all of us. Yes. I am not a leader for the APC caucus. I am a leader of the Senate. And I want, in my determination, to make a positive difference in this Senate, in this session. I want us to work in a very bipartisan manner. Nigeria is our country. Nigeria doesn't belong to the APC. Nigeria belongs to Nigerians. And what Nigerians want from us, what Nigerians need from us, is for us to deliver, to make life better, to bring security and stability and economic development and growth for our people. We should put our hands together and make that happen. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me say that as the chief or principal sales agent of bills coming from the executive side of government, I want to ensure that whatever product comes here is a product that we can easily buy. In this respect, I want to urge the cooperation, understanding and support of my colleagues, that I will be knocking on your doors, whether in your offices or your houses, for us to make things work. This 8th Senate started on a shaky foundation, but this 8th Senate will end on a very solid and stable and successful foundation by the grace of God. Mr. President, you wished me a birthday. I have thought you would go an extra mile to ask me what my birthday wish is. Be that as it may, I would like to say that my birthday wish today is for Mr. President, the DSP, and the entire Senate to give me the understanding, the support and cooperation that I require to run this Senate to a successful end, if God wills. Finally, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on a lighter note, some will say I'm stiff, some will say I'm rigid.
You don't laugh.
Or I don't laugh.
Yes. You have to put that. You have to put that now.
Mr. President.
Order. Abuja.
My distinguished colleagues, today is my 58th birthday. Just 58. I want to assure you that I will do my best to ensure that you see what you want, that you get what you want. But I want to also urge you to help me in the transformation. In the transformation, to do whatever you think will please you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. God bless us.
The leader, thank you for those remarks. As you said, you have taken up this responsibility and promised us to continue to build this institution. You know, I can assure you that your birthday wish is already taken as granted, and we will get all the support of your colleagues, leadership, and others. And I think also, I think somebody director, you start with the massage so that. But on a serious note, I thank you for those kind of words of commitment, and I also use this opportunity also, because as I was not here yesterday, to also commend the former leader for his service to this institution and for his statesmanly comments yesterday. I think this is why this red chamber will always be the red chamber and continue to guide this country in the right direction. Yes, point of order, Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me come under Order 43, sir. Personal indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate. A senator may make a personal explanation, although there will be no question before the Senate. But no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon what the leader is about to say. Mr. President, with your indulgence, I want to join my colleagues on behalf of the best caucus in the Senate, the most behaved caucus in the Senate, the PDP caucus.
Yes, good. Minority good. No,
I missed that. Can you come back? I missed it.
Mr. President, I want to join the APC caucus in the Senate on behalf of my colleagues, the best behaved caucus in the Senate. I attested to just a few days ago, which is reflected in the votes and proceedings of these hallowed chambers by the Senate whip, that yes, indeed, I don't want to quote him, but Prof was able to note that this is the best behaved caucus, and to congratulate the Senate leader, not just on his elevation, but also on his birthday today, and to note that yes, indeed, that we concur with all he has said here, particularly when he said that all the rumblings and disaffections affecting the 8th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have been brought to an end with his elevation today. And I believe he's speaking the minds of all the other grumblers in the past. So it is on that note, it is, Mr. President, it's expected that the leader should be held in silence. Yes. Fire on. Mr. President, it's expected that the leader. Jesus, that is the more reason why I should allow you to talk. So, Mr. President, sir, I mean, my spirit was elevated.
Yes.
And I don't know, my colleagues were also very happy. Because we came here to work to improve the living standards of Nigerians, and not to bicker, and not to grumble, and not to be unhappy. So, just out of happiness that I saw on the faces of my colleagues, the best behaved caucus, I just want to say that we are very delighted with your speech.
Yes.
We are very happy, but we also want to note that in spite of the situation of this and that in reality, that the Senate was actually focused on national issues, and that we're meeting issues on bipartisan basis. We will continue to remain bipartisan where the interests of Nigerians are concerned. We are very determined to ensure that we improve the living standards of Nigerians, and therefore we'll support you, we'll support the Senate, we'll support the APC caucus on things that will improve the living standards of Nigerians, and we'll support the President on things we believe strongly will take Nigeria out of recession. But we will not in any way condone the idea of what you said earlier when you said you were on this side. When you were on this side, you were about 5 or 6. You were about 5 or 6 senators.
There was never a time that the opposition from 1999 in the Senate, yes, were even up to 5. That was the reason that in spite of the other paper, Mr. President, if you see the Senate standing order, you will notice that it is clearly stated majority leader, minority leader. But because there was really no minority from 1999, we chose to call the Senate majority leader, Senate leader, because it was an overwhelming majority on behalf of the PDP at that time. But today the situation is different. So we want you to carry us along and to ensure that in all your activities you do carry us along. And we don't want you to run the Senate. We want the Senate President to run the Senate while you and I continue to consult Senate. I so submit, Mr. President. Congratulations.
The uncommon minority leader of the Senate.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. The first order of the day is the briefing by the Minister of Transportation, Minister of State, Aviation, Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Minister of FCT, the Chief of Air Staff, the Managing Director of FAN and NAMA, and on the proposed closure of Abuja Airport. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you will recall that the Senate resolved to invite the Minister of Transportation, Minister of State, Aviation, Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Minister of FCT, the Chief of Air Staff, the Managing Director of FAN, and NAMA to appear before the Senate today to brief this distinguished Senate on the proposed closure of Abuja Airport. Mr. President, distinguished senators, in order to carry out this exercise in conformity with our Standing Order 17, floor privileges, I will move 2 motions. First, I move that the Senate do resolve into the committee of the whole. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by the leader that the Senate do resolve into committee of whole. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that will resolve into committee of the whole, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate do admit the Minister of Transportation, Minister of State, Aviation, Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Minister of FCT, the Chief of Air Staff, the Managing Directors of FAN, NAMA, and the Special Advisor to the President for National Assembly matters into the Senate chamber. I so move.
Senator Direct, go back to your seat.
Mr. President, I rise to second the motion moved by the leader that the Senate do receive. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support of the motion that we admit the Minister of Transport, the Minister of State Aviation, Minister of Works, Power, Minister of the FCT, and the MDs of NAMA, and FAN, and the Chief of Air Staff, and the Special Advisor to the President on National Assembly matters. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Sergeant of Arms, please usher in.
Observation. Mr. President, the motion reads, and whether you are inviting all the ministers together, but I just see one minister coming in.
Distinguished colleagues, you can all recollect distinguished colleagues, if you all recollect, on Tuesday we took a motion on the proposed action of the Ministry of Transportation and Aviation in particular on the possibility of closure of Abuja Airport, and we resolved that we wanted the Ministers of Transport, Minister of State Aviation, Works, Power and Housing, FCT, Chief of Air Staff, and the two managing directors of FAN and NAMA. We have before us the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amici, you're welcome. And of course we have a minister, but I would say our colleague, who is a colleague, Senator Adi, Second Minister of State for Aviation, you're welcome back home. The Minister of Works and Power and Housing sends apologies, I think he's on leave, and also Minister of FCT. Maybe the Minister of Aviation and Minister of Transport can tell us the whereabouts of the two MDs, that is FAN and NAMA. Distinguished colleagues, the decision we took was to invite the ministers to convey to them our view from the contribution from our colleagues. We are concerned about the decision, whether the decision has been taken, and if the decision has been taken, which is to close Abuja Airport for the purpose of runway maintenance. We wanted an explanation for this from our own feedback and our own contribution. This is a very peculiar arrangement from our own investigation all around the world. Most airports are now closed for maintenance of runway, from the busiest airports in Europe even to those next door to us here in Ghana, etc. And we are concerned about the rationale behind that decision. And we concluded that we also wanted to find out whether other options had been considered. The issue of security as regards the Kaduna Airport and this number of issues. So we wanted the minister to come here and explain to Nigerians this platform here, which has been a matter that's of a great concern, not only in the country, but a lot of embassies have also reached out to us expressing their concern, and friends of the country outside Nigeria. So I want to invite the Minister for Transport to take the floor and explain to us exactly what is going on. And at that point, we will take remarks from questions from my colleagues. Minister for Transport, you have the floor. What about the two MDs? Are they okay? All right then. Yeah, go ahead then. Distinguished Honourable Minister, I think, as you know, you are the Minister of Transportation. And Minister of State is a Minister of State, so the responsibility of the ministry is yours. And I think, at least at the beginning of this presentation, if we get to a stage where we are satisfied that the Minister of Aviation can hold, then we can. But to begin with, we will need your presence here. Minister, we have taken a decision on this. I take note of your request, and I'm sure that will be reasonable. Once, let us start with the proceedings, and then we'll come back to you. Honourable Minister of Aviation, the sooner you can start and get us going. Thank you.